5 of us. Just 5 friends with nothing but a borrowed car, a dusty playlist, and a vague plan to hit a weekend music festival 2 states away. Jay was driving, always the one with the wildest ideas and worst judgment. Kara and Jess were in the back seat, half asleep, whispering and scrolling through their phones. Mark sat shotgun, legs up on the dashboard, narrating horror stories he found online. Me, I was just soaking it in. The empty desert highway, the low hum of the engine, the kind of night where everything feels infinite and just a little off. We were somewhere in Arizona when we made the decision. Jay found a shortcut on a Reddit forum, Route 113. Supposedly shaved off 2 hours and took us through an old scenic highway. No one had heard of it, wasn't even on the GPS. Just coordinates and a bunch of cryptic comments like, "Don't take it after midnight," and "Once you're in, you're in." But we were 20-somethings with no sense of self-preservation. It sounded like a story waiting to happen. So we turned off the interstate and onto a narrow road with no signs, no lights, just a rusty metal marker covered in vines. At first it was fine, peaceful even. The sky was clear. The desert stretched out like a quiet ocean. We joked, played music, shared old ghost stories. Everything felt normal, even boring. Until about an hour in, when we noticed the first car behind us. Its headlights were distant but noticeable, bright, white, steady. It didn't get closer, didn't fall behind, just hovered at the same distance, like it was mimicking us. We didn't think much of it. Jay even joked that it was Route 113's welcome committee. Then the flashing started. First, 1 slow high beam flash, then 3 rapid ones, then 2, then a pause, then it started again, like a pattern. Morse code, maybe? Kara said it gave her chills. I said it was probably just some guy playing around. But the longer we drove, the weirder it got. The car never passed us, never changed lanes, just stayed exactly behind, flashing in sequences that made no sense but felt intentional. We decided to pull over at the next visible stop, a rundown gas station sitting in the middle of nowhere. It looked like it hadn't seen a customer in years. One dusty pump. An old man inside, pale and skeletal, sitting behind cracked glass. The second we turned off the road, the car behind us vanished. No lights, no sound, nothing in the rearview mirror. We got out, stretched our legs, and laughed it off. But inside, something felt wrong. The attendant didn't speak, didn't blink, just stared. We grabbed chips and drinks, and as we headed back to the car, he finally moved, just a step forward. Then he leaned into Jay's window and whispered, "There's someone in your back seat." We froze. I turned around, heart pounding, but saw nothing but Kara's hoodie and a bag of chips. But for the briefest second, as my eyes flicked to the rearview mirror, I saw a face. Not reflected, not outside, inside, behind me. Gray, gaunt, staring right into my eyes, then gone. No one spoke as we got back on the road. The silence grew heavy, oppressive. No more music, no more jokes, just the sound of tires rolling over worn pavement and our shallow breathing. Everyone felt it. Something was following us. But this time, it wasn't behind us. It was with us. I could feel it breathing against the back of my neck. Kara started crying quietly. Jess held her hand. Mark didn't say a word. We began seeing signs. Literal ones. Metal road signs that didn't make sense. Turn back. Stay on the path. Do not exit. And they weren't old. They were new, glossy, like someone had just planted them there. But there were no other cars, no streetlights, no people. Just our car in the suffocating dark pressing in from all sides. Then the mile markers began glitching. 82, 77, 83, 65, 90, jumping backward and forward. The GPS spun in circles, refusing to load. And the worst part? We started passing the same billboard over and over, A cartoon cowboy with a huge smile pointing to a pie, underneath which was scribbled, "You've come too far." Each time we saw it, the billboard looked older, torn, burned, as if it had been sitting out for decades longer than the last time. Then the radio came alive. Not music, not static. A voice, female, cold and clear, whispering names, our names, one by one. Jay, Kara, Jess, Mark, then mine. You. Like she didn't know my name but still knew I was there. The volume stayed low, barely audible, like a whisper sliding into your ear. It didn't matter how many times we turned the knob. It wouldn't shut off. Kara said she saw her again. The girl, she whispered, staring ahead blankly. She was sitting between us, smiling. Jess screamed, "Swerve the car." Mark shouted for everyone to shut up, but Kara just kept whispering, "Her teeth, they're wrong, too many, too sharp." We stopped the car. We had to. None of us could breathe. When I stepped out, the desert was dead silent. No wind, no insects, no sound. Then I looked down and realized the ground wasn't right. It crunched beneath my feet. I picked up what I thought was a pebble. It was a tooth, human, old, jagged at the root. I turned slowly, flashlight shaking in my hand, and saw more, scattered across the dirt like gravel, at least 100. Then I heard the giggle, faint, high-pitched, not from any of us, not from anywhere I could place. And that's when we ran. Back in the car, Jay floored it. But the road had changed. It was curving, coiling, doubling back into itself. Trees now lined the highway, where minutes ago there had been only sand. The signs were gone. No gas stations, no billboards. Just darkness, thick and crawling. And she was there, in the road. A little girl in a soaked dress, pale, barefoot, staring directly at us. Jay swerved. The car spun. We screamed. But when we stopped, nothing. She was gone, except for the small puddle of water where she stood, and a single child's shoe resting neatly in the middle of it. That's when Jay lost it. He started talking to someone none of us could see. "She says we're close," he mumbled. "She says she's almost ready." We tried shaking him, yelling. He wouldn't blink, just smiled and kept whispering to someone in the empty back seat. Then we saw it. A diner up ahead, lights on, neon sign flashing, Mama Bell's Home Cooking. It looked too perfect, too out of place, but we were desperate. Inside it was warm, spotless, frozen in time. 1950s music played from a jukebox. A red-haired woman behind the counter waved cheerfully. "You made it," she said. "Took you long enough." We were too tired to argue. Sat in a booth. She brought menus. Blank pages. Just blank. "You're the last table," she said with a smile. "Everyone else already fed her." Jay laughed. "I told you she was hungry." Then food appeared. Not ordered, not explained. Just there. Jay dug in, chewing fast, nose bleeding. Kara screamed. Jess grabbed my hand and begged us to run. Mark tried the door, locked. Windows, fogged up. Shapes moved on the other side. Fingers tapping, faces watching. The grinning mouths were back, full of pointed teeth. I looked at the reflection in the window and saw myself, but older, smiling, watching. Then nothing. I woke up in my driveway, alone. Middle of the day, my phone beside me, battery full, no texts, no calls, except a new photo. Me, Jess, Mark, Kara, Jay, all standing in front of Mama Bell's, all smiling, but our eyes, blacked out, burned through. I tried calling them, every number disconnected, their social profiles gone, like they never existed. And now, there's another photo, newer, 4 strangers I don't recognize. But I'm in it too, in the center, smiling again, eyes blacked out. I don't remember being there, but I dream about them. I see them in mirrors, in reflections, watching me, waiting. And I know what that means. She's not done with me. And if you ever find yourself on Route 113, if the road suddenly gets too quiet, the signs stop making sense, or you hear your name in the static, turn back, because once she sees you, you belong to her. Forever. Story number 2. It was just supposed to be another late-night drive, a solo trip. Me, the car, and the open road. I wasn't running away from anything, at least that's what I told myself. Sometimes when things get too loud, life, work, people, I escape into the silence of the highway. That night, Highway 42 stretched out in front of me like a black ribbon unraveling into nothingness. It was around 2 a.m. I had passed through the last town a while ago. No more buildings, no more signs, just telephone poles and moonlight. There was a certain calmness to it, the kind you only feel when the world's asleep. The dashboard lights glowed softly, casting a warm tint on my hands as I gripped the wheel. I sipped lukewarm coffee from a travel mug, half listening to a podcast that had long since lost my attention. My thoughts drifted, and everything felt still. Almost too still. That's when I saw it, a faint light in the rearview mirror. It wasn't blinding like headlights. It had a flickering quality to it, dim, sickly yellow, like an old street lamp fighting to stay alive. I thought it was a motorbike at first, not unusual. People ride at night all the time. But then I noticed something strange. It wasn't approaching, it was just there, holding its place. I eased up on the gas a little, curious. The light slowed with me. I sped up, so did it. No matter what I did, it matched my speed exactly. There wasn't a single engine sound, just the gentle hum of my tires on pavement and the soft glow behind me. I flicked off the podcast, rolled the window down, listened. Nothing. No wind, no bike, just that damn light. I figured maybe I was imagining things. That's what your mind does when you're sleep-deprived and alone in the middle of nowhere. But the moment I pulled off into a dirt patch by the side of the road, things got worse. I turned off the ignition, headlights off. Darkness swallowed everything. I glanced in the mirror. The light was still there. It hovered 20 feet behind me, faint and unwavering. I blinked once, rubbed my eyes, looked again, gone, just like that, vanished into the black. I didn't sleep when I got to my motel that night. How could I? My brain kept replaying that moment, the silence, the glow, the sense that something was watching. I convinced myself it was just a weird hallucination. Lack of rest, overthinking. I laughed about it the next morning, but something in me shifted. I didn't take the highway the next day. I found a longer route back. More towns, more traffic, more people, just in case. But it followed me anyway. A few days later, I stopped at a roadside diner to grab coffee. 2 men at the next booth were whispering. One of them said, "It's happened again. Someone saw the rider last night." I froze. The other man shook his head. They never learn. You ignore the ribcage, you get followed. I leaned in, pretending to check my phone. My ears caught every word. They didn't say much else, just something about Highway 42, a ghost biker, and how it always starts with the light. I had to know more. When they got up to leave, I followed them outside and asked. Begged, really. They didn't want to talk, at first, but when they saw my face, pale, desperate, they caved. They told me stories. The legend of a biker named Carter Hensley who died on that road in 1977. Local papers said he hit a deer and lost control. Crashed so hard that his ribs were found scattered across the road. But there were inconsistencies. No one ever found the deer. No one ever found a tree where the crash supposedly happened. Just bones. And a helmet. Cracked clean down the middle. They warned me about the rib cage. I didn't understand what they meant. Not then. A week later, I drove that road again. I don't know why. Something about the light haunted me. I had to see it again. prove it to myself. That was when I saw it, right in the middle of the road. A rib cage, human, upright, perfectly clean, like it had been boiled and bleached, positioned as if someone had placed it there with care. It wasn't an accident, it was a marker. I slammed on the brakes, my tires skidded. I sat there, trembling, staring at those bones. Then the light appeared again, behind me, floating, unmoving, silent. Something about the way it hovered there, like it had been waiting, sent a cold shiver through my spine. I didn't look away, I didn't breathe, and then the road around the ribcage shimmered. Like heat distortion, but colder. Like a memory burning through the present, and in a blink, everything was gone. The road was empty again. But now I knew. The rider had chosen me. I started digging. I spent days at the local library. Old newspaper archives, forums, death records. Every 10 years, someone dies on that stretch. Same story. Crashed vehicle. No signs of trauma. Just shattered ribs and a helmet with no name. I found autopsy notes. One said the victim's body looked days old, decomposed, despite dying just hours before. It didn't make sense, unless the crash wasn't the cause of death, unless something else claimed them first, something still riding those roads. The more I read, the more I couldn't stop. It felt like I was being pulled into something, like the rider wanted me to see everything, know everything. I started seeing the light even when I wasn't driving. Reflections, windows, rearview mirrors, always behind me. Always faint, always waiting. I stopped going out at night, but I couldn't sleep. I'd wake up to the hum of tires on pavement, outside my window. The soft glow just beyond the trees. It got closer. One night I found the helmet on my porch. Same crack down the center. No note, no explanation, just waiting. I went back to Highway 42 again. I don't know if I was trying to end it or understand it. But when I saw the light that night, it didn't wait. It rushed toward me. Faster than before. I floored the gas pedal, but it kept pace. Then it passed me. For the first time, I saw it clearly. It wasn't a man. It was hollow. A glowing skull for a head. Flames inside the bones. Exposed ribs, each one humming with light. As it passed, my radio turned to static. My windows iced over. The world froze. Then it vanished. I swerved off the road, hit a ditch, blacked out. When I woke up, I was back in my driveway. How I got there, I don't know. But the helmet was in the passenger seat. Same crack, same silence. I've tried burning it, throwing it in the river. Every morning it comes back, always waiting. I'm not sure if I survived that night, or if something else crawled into my skin and took my place. I still drive sometimes, not because I want to, but because I have to. I think the rider's looking for a replacement, and soon it'll be my turn to follow someone else. So if you're ever on Highway 42 and you see a dim yellow light behind you, don't stop, don't look back, and whatever you do, don't blink, because next time it might not be him anymore, it might be me.